Good evening. Welcome to my tutorial here, brief tutorial for how to trade the RSI. Let me zoom out here a little bit. I want to go back to the beginning of 2017. Okay, here we go. As you can see, there's been several instances where RSI has been considered to be overbought. Overbought is above a level of 70 by any default settings on pretty much any trading software. So we have one here from February to March, another one here from October until the end of October, November for a few days, and now we're currently, again, quote unquote, overbought. Now, how to trade the RSI? First of all, you have to understand what the RSI is. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. The standard setting for this is 14 periods, which basically means it's taking into account the strength of the current day in relation to the previous 14 periods. You can adjust those settings for whatever your likings are, and algorithms can be programmed by that as well. I'm going to leave it as the default settings. I've been seeing a lot of participants, traders, whatever the case may be, saying things are overbought. That means they need to sell off. Well, let's go back here just over the last year and see how that has worked out. As of February 10th, SPY went overbought. This is the S&P 500, SPY. This went overbought on February 10th at an approximate price of 231. Went all the way up to, we'll call it 240, before it even implied there was a reason for it to pull back. It did ultimately pull all the way back down to about 231, where the initiation of an overbought status was confirmed. As it turns out, price action did find support and continued to run. Now, which brings me to a small little point here. Stocks, ETFs, whatever the case may be, can remain overbought for an indefinite amount of period, as well as oversold. So just because something's overbought, in my opinion, will never mean it's a reason to short. Okay, with that said, let's go to the next period of time where SPY registered an overbought, quote unquote, status. We'll go right here where it did start to turn red, just barely peaked above 270 on June 2nd. June 2nd, it hit 243.70-ish, 244. And from that point on, it fell all the way back down to 239.80. As you can see, price still maintained an uptrend, held above the 50-day simple moving average, and continued much higher after that. You decide for yourself if that is a valid or efficient use of money to go ahead and short based on the RSI. My goal of this video is to illustrate that simply because you have an overbought status does not mean there's a reason to sell anything or to short. Okay, next time we went overbought here on October 2nd, we registered a price of approximately 251.35, 251-ish we'll call it, and it continued to run and ran and ran until we ultimately did have a pullback all the way back down to 254, still above where we registered our overbought status. We have a series of higher highs and higher lows, which simply tells you we have an uptrend. Again, next time we have overbought, we'll call it the end of November here, on a breakout from about 260, and it went up, tagged 267, registered extremely overbought, and pulled all the way back down to 260, 260. Now, the question remains, or should remain, whether or not it's an efficient use of money to put into a short position when you have numbers like that. I want to go here to the longer term time frame. This is a monthly chart here historically for the S&P 500. It's gone overbought several times in the past, and every time it's continued to go higher, all the way back here in 1995. Initially registered an overbought situation at 49.10, chopped around way overbought, and ran. Even when it came back down and went underneath overbought, was still at 93, 100% gain from there. Continued much higher, and finally did pull back for about a 50% retracement. had another pop, pull back, and continued much higher ever since then. Every time price goes overbought, it simply means there is strong buying. The RSI in and of itself is no reason, no justification in my opinion, to be short any name, whether it's the S&P, DIA, NDX, Apple, QQQ, anything. Names can remain overbought or oversold for an indefinite amount of time, so always remember that. Now, in closing, how do I trade the RSI and how would I recommend trading the RSI? Simple. Do this right here. And gone. Don't even need it. Price action will tell you what it's doing, what it's most likely to do until something happens outside of the norm of that price action. S&P 500 has historically been going up. Absolutely no reason to think that's going to end anytime soon. So, with that in mind, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to post them below. Give me a like on the video, follow me if you'd like. I do post videos on Apple a couple times a week. I wish you good luck in your trading, and I hope this helps you.